Hello everybody, MinishCap1 here from down in the corner. Today I will be going over all of the changes that are coming to League of Legends in Season 16, Season 2026, and it's looking like a pretty big one. So because there's a whole lot changing, this video is going to actually get pretty long. Feel free to leave it on in the background. It should be a cool lunchtime watch. I don't know, however you want to watch. Toilet, you know. I'll go over all the changes and give my thoughts on them as well. The items, the runes, absolutely everything. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So I'll skip over this first section really fast, and we'll also go over not just the video, but the actual article as well. This first section called Season 1 Theme, they're really just talking about how the whole theme in the first part of Season 14 was just Noxus red, black, and in my opinion, that you already heard me talk about this before, but in my opinion back then it was a little bit not fun to look at that theme for a very long time. So here's the section with the actual Summoner's Rift changes.
Everyone, I'm Riot Enstep.
And I'm Freak.
And we're here to talk to you about the Summoner's Rift gameplay changes coming in January.
Over the last few years, League has been largely about team fighting over neutral objectives, fighting around grubs, dragons, or that vision ward you just placed around grubs or dragons.
Yep, they're right, this is true. League as a whole for the last few years has been very team fight centric. Some people like that, some people dislike that. Me personally, I do like a more team fight oriented League of Legends, but I also feel like you should have the option to have other strategies to win a game when the opportunity presents itself.
To make for some of the highest highs, we want to swing back towards a state where more strategies like splitting or sieging are more viable.
So we're making some changes to major neutral objectives, towers, and minions in order to do just that.
Okay.
Additionally, we're making adjustments to roles so everyone has an appropriate impact on the outcome of each game, because right now, some lanes are much better at turning a winning lane into a winning game.
This is true. This is very true. You've heard, I know it, you know it, everyone knows it about top lane especially. Top lane does not really feel nearly as rewarding as the other roles. Specifically, jungle and support, which are by far, in my opinion, the two strongest roles in League of Legends currently. And have been for quite a while, even way before like season 10, 9 even back then. Jungle and jungle and support were very strong. And this got even more exacerbated whenever Riot nerfed teleport and reworked it into what it is now, where it's a lot more clunkier to use. It's not as low cooldown as it used to be. It's slower, it's more cumbersome, and this basically made top lane just become sleeper nerfed overall.
We also have some delightful improvements, so let's get started.
Okay,
the first thing you'll notice in January is that the game starts faster. We want to reduce downtime after you load in, so minions and basic jungle camps first spawn 35 seconds earlier than they do today. You'll still be able to pull off early invades, but you'll have to be much more decisive when you load in.
So this immediately makes me think that this is probably a good thing that games start faster, minions spawn sooner. I played on PBE, so I'm pretty sure you can still level 1 proxy, but it's also going to be easier to scout you out, but it's also going to be easier to actually get into their jungle if you can get through an entrance that is unscouted, right? Because they're going to have less time to react to you, essentially. So I think overall it's like kind of a nerf to level 1 proxy, but also a buff if you can actually get it, because you will be harder to actually catch.
We're also making some changes to vision. It's an incredibly powerful tool in League, but right now it feels monopolized by supports and sometimes by junglers. We want to make effectively warding the map easier to learn for everyone, and give more opportunities and power towards drops by pushing champions, especially mid and top laners who are side laning later in the game.
So, we're adding Phalites, locations that grant temporary bonus vision to wards with unique bonus vision areas for each spot. Some Phalite rings will be available at the beginning of each game, while others reveal themselves when the Elemental Rift transforms.
So I've played with this on PBE a bit, the Phalites. The vision is very strong, and I'm pretty sure that these will eventually get nerfed because the amount of safety that they provide in terms of vision to people who are side laning or just in general might end up making the game feel a little bit too slow and a little bit too stale, especially when you're talking about the highest levels of play like pro play. Imagine a team like T1 with Keria taking advantage of these Phalites and just having complete 45-second gigantic intervals of vision across the map where you just see everything and you can't get ganked from those spots, right? I feel like this would end up making pro games feel so slow that, and they can already be kind of slow, that Riot will probably eventually end up changing how these work, just because the vision can provide so much safety in a game.
Okay, so on to the objectives. Otacon was one of the biggest additions to the Rift this year, and was a pretty cool, unique objective to fight over. That said, he contributed to objective fatigue, which many of you cited as an issue, and we agree.
Completely agree.
We wanted to alleviate this over time. We had removed the second form of Otacon, we removed the second set of grubs, but it really wasn't enough. So, just like Zehen did, we are cutting Otacon out of the game. That includes Blood Roses and the petals with them.
Thank God.
That said, let us know what you think about limited time gameplay changes and if there's something you'd like to see more of.
So let me start by saying limited time gameplay changes can be a cool thing. Plenty of other competitive games do it, and they do it well. However, the way that Otacon, the way that Otacon was implemented was my issues with Otacon was that it was very awkward. It was spawning in either the top left river or the bottom right river, and these areas were not balanced for years and years around it being fair for both sides to fight into. And the vision control, I explained this a little bit on my stream last night, but the vision control around the Otacon locations was extremely easy to control for the team that was already winning, right? So imagine you're a team that's already winning around Otacon. You only have to ward a few areas, and then you can control vision from the lane because you can push the lane that it's next to, right? So having this, if you're the team that's winning in the game currently, Otacon being so controllable by you guys felt like a way that made it impossible, at least in solo queue, to come back. Now, I know in pro play there were a lot of Otacon flips, because I think pro players just really weren't used to the power of the shred that Otacon would do, but in solo queue, especially because people would get picked off all the time by the team that's controlling more of the vision, it was hard to come back, I feel like, from a losing game, and Otacon contributed heavily to snowballing, especially around the 20-minute mark. And the blood flowers as well were very, very snowbally. The infinitely stacking AP was very snowballing. The fact that they would get a gigantic slow when they killed you was very snowbally, and I didn't like that. It honestly felt like there was more chances to come back before, when there was a 20-minute Baron, because Baron vision control, you can actually fight around Baron a lot more effectively. It's been balanced around it for years and years and years. There's more areas that you have to ward. There's it's a harder objective to kill. It's actually just a much more difficult thing to siege in general, at least in solo queue. And that's my perspective as a solo queue player. I know in pro play it's different, that Baron is kind of easier to take for pro teams, but I don't know that I am like supposed to have an opinion on pro play, because I just play solo queue as like a challenger player, right? So but yeah, in my opinion, getting rid of this, good move. The blood flowers added so much damage to the game, they added so much experience to the game, and the fact that when you killed Otacon you got all of them on the map, give you at least over half a level of experience, was completely crazy. It made champions like Kale and Kassadin very hard to balance, because if their team got Otacon, they would skyrocket towards level 16 faster, and it was just a nightmare. And so I'm glad this is going away personally.
But back to Otacon, his removal also means that Baron will go back to his old 20-minute spawn time. Welcome back, King.
Additionally,
yeah, this is good.
We're making all epic monsters more durable, especially late game dragons as you get closer to Dragon Soul. That should make it so that it's easier for teams on the back foot to contest dragons and other epic monsters.
I like this because while it would be harder for the team that is losing to take it if they have like a free moment, what this also means is that the team that's winning will have to be a bit more careful when they start objectives, which gives the team that's losing more time to react to it. Essentially, the driver's seat is still in the hands of the team that is winning, as it probably should be. But hey, he just bit my finger. The driver's seat is still in the hands of the team that's winning, but the losing team will have a chance to like crash their car into them. Bad analogy, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Trade something meaningful on the other side of the map.
Finally, we're also removing feats of strength from the game. We like that they push teams to progress the game and provided goals to rally around, but we think we can create better game systems that allow for players to have more individual agency over their games. With feats getting the boot, we're adding back some gold rewards for First Blood and First Turret.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. League's been balanced around First Blood, First Turret gold for many, many years before this, and I think it's overall a good thing. The feats boots really felt quite strong to me, especially after they buffed them twice. Like, whenever you would play I'll just give the example that I'm most familiar with. Whenever you would play Singed into an enemy champion that got their hands on the upgraded Merc Treads, it felt really hard to actually deal damage to them. And I know the same would be said for someone playing AD carry, and then the enemy jungler, for example, Xin, gets the upgraded ninja tabbies, this upgraded steel caps, and then they have just had this gigantic shield when they're already diving onto you, they're already ulting, they're already knocking you up, they're already turning invulnerable. It just like, it added a whole nother layer of frustration for the people that didn't get the boots upgrades to deal with, that I think just kind of wasn't really fair, especially if the fact that you're on the losing team was not your fault and you're trying your best to carry. To have to deal with that extra bonus that they would get was just a little bit too much. Cool concept, but I think it would have been cooler if they allowed both teams to buy them eventually, instead of just locking it only to one side, because I do think that the boots make for some interesting gameplay. Like the swiftness upgrade that gives you AP or AD for moving faster, or the super powered Baron recall boots, like, and even the defensive boots, the Merc Treads, the tabbies, steel caps, like, those were cool too. I think conceptually they were cool, but I don't like how they're implemented.
Another way we're looking to improve sieging is with a new mechanic called Crystalline Overgrowth, which is kind of like a universal demolish effect. Crystals will build up on towers over several minutes, and when hit, they're consumed to deal an extra burst of damage based on how much buildup has accumulated.
So I've played with this on PBE, and I'll actually show you a clip of that right now. So you can see here, I'm going to walk up to the tower and hit this turret. This turret will have these crystals around it, and this is a pretty small cluster of crystals, but what they do is, if a turret has not been hit for 90 seconds by a champion, you can have these crystals grow on them, and then you walk up and hit them, it will deal bonus damage to the turret. So this is a pretty small crystal formation right here. Watch this. Okay, about a little over 300 damage there for the crystals. Not too bad. And then here is a more late game example of a little bit of a bigger burst damage when a turret has not been hit for a very long time. You can see there's more crystals on it too. Then you walk up and just smack it. 470 plus 264. It's a decent amount of damage for sure if a turret hasn't been hit for a while. It just incentivizes split pushing.
Should help enable pushing windows in more situations, even if you're behind or don't have the highest DPS. Demolish will be sticking around, but will be simplified to a good old 3-hit passive.
We love 3-hit passives.
Yes, we do.
It still has a built-in 30-second cooldown, which I believe is longer than what it is on live, which is 45 seconds. But that is cool, I guess. But it means that you won't be able to like do the thing where you just hover next to the turret while the enemy champ is CSing and then just walk up and hit it once. You'll have to actually commit to get close in range and hit it 3 times, which gives a little bit more counterplay than what it used to be, which is kind of cool.
Turret plates will now stay on outer turrets permanently and will be added to the inner and inhibitor towers as well. We're doing this to create long-term piecemeal rewards for pushing. No matter what state the turret's in, you're likely to mine some gold by taking aggressive actions.
So this sounds really OP. But the thing is, so the early game plates on the outside of the turrets currently give 160 gold. In season 16, they're going to give 120 each. And then the other turrets, the tier 2, tier 3 turrets, not the Nexus turrets, but the tier 2 and tier 3 turrets will have plates added to them. However, there's no longer bonus gold for actually finishing the turret off. The gold is just, it gives the same gold as it does. It's just spread out across the whole health bar of the turret. So it's not more gold total. It's just spread out. So if you like walk up to a turret and you just hit it once or twice and then they answer you and you have to recall, you still get a reward for that, which I think is kind of a good change, and it does buff split pushing again.
We're not adding more gold to the map with these changes. Instead, we're going to be basically spreading out the current gold for killing a tower and splitting it across the plates.
To further facilitate pushing, we're ramping up minion respawn rates in the late game to give more frequent access to sieging turrets.
This will probably change.
We're also adjusting late game home guards to swiftly take you to your most pushed minion wave in each lane.
Okay, the home guards change is absolutely insane. I do think that is one that will get nerfed or reworked pretty quickly, because what's going to happen, and I can see this happening especially in pro play and high levels of solo queue, is it's just going to be really, really, really obnoxious for both teams to just like continuously recall. Run to the wave, recall, run to the wave, recall, run to the wave, because the home guards can take you potentially all the way across the map. It's just going to make the gameplay very stale, and it's going to make it hard to snowball as well when you have a lead, because the enemy also gets home guards, by the way, to go run to their wave faster where you're pushing to answer your push, right? So it's just like, it is a buff to split push, but it's also a buff to like defense a little bit. And so I think the home guards mechanic is absolutely, mark my words right now, is going to get removed or changed or heavily nerfed. The home guards mechanic is actually crazy.
Finally, Nexus turrets will respawn with partial health missing. We like that the respawn allows a team to hold their base for a while and not have to worry about getting backdoored by a Twitch, but with a full health respawn, it meant that it was honestly incorrect for a sieging team to finish killing the turret sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. The whole point of having the turrets up is so they don't get backdoored. But if you have the chance to kill them, you should kill them, right? So he's correct. This is the right take. I have nothing more to add here.
Now, for our biggest change for next year, role quests.
When you load into the game in January, top, bot, and mid lane will now have their own quests that reward unique power, similar to the jungle pet evolutions and the support item upgrades.
You'll progress these new quests by killing minions, champions, plates, towers, or epic objectives, all the things you'd normally be doing in a game. You'll progress even faster by doing those in your assigned lane.
Your quest is decided by which role you've been assigned in the lobby, so if you and a friend or a stranger want to change roles, make sure you do an official trade in Champ Select.
One of our goals with these role quests is to buff top and bot carry relative to the other roles, as they're currently the two weakest, and as a result, the quest rewards are going to be comparatively stronger for them.
Round of applause. Riot Games finally said it out loud. Top lane and AD carry, two weakest roles in the game. So if you want my opinion on the strongest roles, I would say jungle, number 1 strongest role. Support, number 2 strongest role. Number 3 strongest role. Mid lane, number 4 AD carry, number 5 top lane. I know I'm biased here, but here's my logic: is as shitty as it is to play AD carry and as out of control as you feel about the game, the thing is you still have access to dragon, you still have 4 people in the lane, junglers still path for bottom, right? And so you at least have a chance to somewhat influence the outcome of the game, because most of the game, at least in solo queue, is sited on the bot half of the map. In top lane, we're just there, and it sucks. Like if you're in a bad matchup, sorry, I'm pathing for bot lane, says the jungler. Enemy top lane's pushing tier 2, sorry, I'm pathing for dragon. Like it so I understand that AD carry is like unrewarding and shitty to play in solo queue. I get that. But if you want my ranking, that's my ranking. 2 things can be bad at once, right? Top lane can be weak and AD carry can be weak at the same time. So I'm glad that they're giving these role quests to us.
Now, let's get into the rewards which will be granted in a new role quest slot.
Historically, top laners haven't always felt like they have the agency over the games that they deserved, even if they won their lane.
True.
And that's something we would like to change this season.
True.
Upon quest completion, top laners will receive pretty much summoner teleport for free on top of the 2 summoners they already chose. Now, if you had taken teleport in pregame, instead that spell gets a lot stronger, giving a very, very large shield when you use it.
All right, yeah, this is pretty cool. I have played it on PvE. The cooldown is actually quite long. Let me show you the actual reward system as well. Actually, let me go over all the changes first before I show you the reward system.
In addition to getting a functionally free summoner spell, top laners will also get a bunch of bonus XP up front, more XP from future sources, and an increased level cap.
Now, to mid lane. A huge variety of champions can be played there, so we wanted this reward to be good whether you're mage, assassin, or both, like Malphite mid. And upon completing the quest, mid laners will receive a free tier 3 boot upgrade like the ones you could buy with feats, as well as a faster recall.
Rounding it out for new quests, in bot lane, we're going to lean even harder into the carry part of the role. So while top laners getting bonus XP, bot laners are getting a whole bunch of extra gold. When completing their quest, they get a lump sum of gold, increased gold from minion kills, champ kills, and champion assists for the rest of the game. And you might be asking, well then what do I do with all this gold if I hit item cap? Don't worry, the item cap is going up. Your 7th item slot will hold your boots permanently, allowing you to get 6 full legendary items for extra hard late game scaling.
That's cool. So my thoughts on top lane, it definitely is good. My thoughts on mid lane, not quite as good as top and bot. My thoughts on AD carry, I'm glad that they're getting an extra item slot. The way this works is once they finish their quest, the boots just move to that slot, and then they're going to get a flat amount of gold. How much is the actual gold tuned for here? I'm not actually sure. Let me see if I can find that.
Bot laners are getting a whole bunch of extra gold when completing.
So he's at 1,500 right now.
Their quest, they get
He completes it and goes to 1,800, so it's a little over 300 gold.
a lump sum of gold, increased gold from minion kills,
And then all the other minions and stuff will actually give extra gold as well. Okay, yeah, that's decent. Most games don't go to 6 full items. So most of the time, what this is going to equate to is AD carries being able to carry an extra component in their inventory, but that's kind of good because AD carry components are kind of good, right? Zeal, for example, gives 3 really great stats. You could get another crit cloak. You could do a lot of stuff with extra component on AD carries, right, while you're finishing items. And then if you ever do get to your full late game status and you have 6 full items, well, you're going to have higher DPS than everybody as well, because the scaling is going to be crazy. This is going to eventually possibly open up non-conventional AD carry, but AD carry picks such as like Kale as well, in my opinion. Kassadin, I could see him being played as AD carry in some situations, because Kassadin will also love having 6 full items, right? Interesting change for sure. I do like it so far.
Kills and champion assists for the rest of the game, and you might be asking, well then what do I do with all this gold? Slot will allow you to get full late game scaling.
Jungle and support already have quests and rewards, but we still wanted to take this opportunity to make some changes to them. Jungle is by far the strongest role in the game right now, especially when it comes to early map influence, so we're slightly lowering the speed of early game clears to give lane matchups a little bit more time to play out uninterrupted. We're also making it harder for non-junglers to steal objectives by increasing their resists and making Smite deal more damage.
Their role quest is still getting pet upgrades and PvP Smite like before, and they're now getting increased golden XP from large monsters when the quest is done, as well as bonus movement speed in the jungle.
Yeah, jungle does not need a whole lot extra from a quest, so they already have a whole lot of power in the game. I'm glad that they're getting relatively less.
Similar to jungle, we think support is already plenty powerful and has a very functional role quest, so we didn't want to directly increase their power. With that in mind, we wanted to give them quality of life-oriented upgrades, so we're giving them a new slot exclusively for control wards, discounts on control wards, and a little bit more gold over time so they can keep pace a little better with the other roles.
Overall, we want these quests to represent meaningful power spikes in a way that leans into the unique strengths of each.
Yeah, support got shafted. I mean, jungle and support both get shafted here, honestly, but they are by far the two strongest roles currently, and they have been for a very long time. And I think it's the right decision to not give them that much extra power. So here's an example of the quest. This is from a game that I played on PvE. So the 0 to 1350, what this is you earn points for doing each of these activities, and the points are to complete your quest total, and the things that you actually the amount of points that you earn for doing these things is different from role to role. So what this says to me is that Riot is trying to have a way that they can individually balance the power level of every single role on the fly, patch to patch. They want to make it, this is what I think they're doing, they want to have levers that they can adjust to make large power positive or power negative changes in the middle of a season, and honestly, like, as fast as the next patch, because traditionally we've had to wait until preseason or sometimes 2 preseasons later to actually have big changes to a role that's feeling weak. So I think this is overall a good change. So you'll see in this clip that I unlock my teleport here, but top laners will also get the amount of XP that we get, I think, is around 700 XP for completing it, the quest, and you also get bonus XP from all other sources. So actually, you can see my XP bar skyrockets right there at 700 extra XP. And then once I get past this turret, I actually end up leveling up during this fight for another level, and everything is going to give extra XP. So the 700 XP that I got from the quest is actually more XP than I got from killing the enemy Aatrox, and that XP that I get is actually already amplified as well, because I think there is like a 15% bonus from experience from all sources. So it is a large amount of XP that we get. It's pretty much, I think, the average of Otacon before it was removed, or before it's getting removed, but only for top laners, which I think is good, because that's traditionally the power curve of top lane is through levels. We're solo laners, we get solo XP, we level up faster, we want to be able to actually have those stats from our champions levels to dominate the game, right? So you'll notice that there is a teleport on my V button now. Now, I don't want to kill the hype, but the teleport is quite a long cooldown, as you will see here. So when you teleport, you just use the V button, and assuming that's if you didn't take it in Champ Select, the cooldown is 5 minutes and 56 seconds with Cosmic Insight, and as far as I can tell, it is affected by Cosmic Insight, and you do get the benefit of Nimbus Cloak. So it is quite a long cooldown. It is not going to be like the same power level as normal Unleash Teleport. And if you take Unleash Teleport as your actual summoner, you're going to get a pretty big shield. It's not like insanely large, but again, these are all different individual levers that they can tune from role to role if a role as a whole is feeling less powerful, which I think for the long-term health of the game, this is, I think, a good thing. It sounds like it's very crazy, but when everything is said and done, when everything is balanced, and they have these levers in place to individually tune roles, assuming that they keep them for the future seasons, I think it will be a good thing overall. So if you want to see a more extreme example of a late game teleport, if you want to see the shield, this is a clip of me using the shield. I have 3.7k HP or 3.8k with the Elixir of Iron, TPing in. I have the shield here. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about a 600 HP shield, which is definitely a big shield. I wouldn't say that it's like very, very large shield like what Freak said in the video, but it's a pretty decently sized shield. And you'll have this every time you TP, if you took TP as your summoner in Champ Select. If you didn't take it, you don't get the shield, and that your teleport will be a much longer cooldown. But overall, I do think that this is a good thing for the game, and it gives Riot another way to balance the role, which is really good.
This also allows us to delete the lane swap detective mechanic that we added last year to combat pro lane swapping.
Keep it.
We'll be keeping a close eye on how quests land, so please let us know your thoughts next year.
But role quests aren't all we have planned to make your champions feel more satisfying. We're going to bring back a few items to the Rift for each class to give them some shiny new toys,
I will go over all of the items as well individually in their own section in this video,
including bringing back a few familiar favorites like Hextech Gunblade.
For example, we're adding the new Scepter of Bonking for AP fighters, which will empower your Spellblade Bonk to double your...
I'm going to skip this section because I will be going over them again individually.
Okay, let's talk about ranked.
Let's talk about ranked.
This year we've been making improvements to shorten queue times and make your matches more fair through improvements to inting and griefing detection. And, more recently, we ran a test in late September that reduced queue times by 40% at all ranks, in ranked, in EU West and Oceania. We want to double down on that work and make 2026 the best time yet.
From what I understand, the only region with low autofill and low queue times is literally Korea, because we can't see Chinese data. I assume China is probably the same way because League is huge there, as it is in Korea. But the only region that has like genuinely low autofill is Korea.
Climb.
So next year, we'll be also tackling two common frustrations, mismatched teams and long queues. Something we want to address is visual rank disparity in lobbies as well. When players start their climbs late after a reset, you may see a bronze player in an otherwise gold game, which can feel particularly unfair.
I mean, I'm not seeing that. I don't know about you guys. I'm not me. I'm not actually seeing that in my games because you know, your boy's a bit of a gamer, so.
Reality, that player was gold last season, but they haven't gotten back to that rank yet because they've had less time to play. So we're adding a climb indicator to loading screens when a player's MMR is higher than their visible rank. This will let other players know that you're climbing quickly and your displayed rank hasn't caught up yet.
I mean, I get it. It's kind of stupid, but I get it because they need to give you a reason to actually play games and grind and spend time playing League instead of just being like, oh, this is your MMR, here's your rank instantly. I get it. You have to re-earn your rank every season. So like, it's kind of cringe, but it makes sense.
We're also making changes to how Flex and Solo Duo MMR are calculated. A common pain point is someone who is Silver in Flex and, say, Diamond in Solo Duo just stomping a bunch of games, when in reality they're truly Diamond in both ladders. So this season, if your Solo Duo MMR is much higher than your Flex MMR, the system should bring your Flex rank a lot closer to your Solo Duo one.
That I guess it's probably a good thing because I mostly use Flex as a way to like practice new champions that I think I might be interested in. Like for example, the Cho'Gath games that I played to practice on. Some of them were in Flex, some of them were in solo queue. I actually ended up getting that account to Master Tier in solo queue. It was off stream, but I'm very proud of myself for that one. So I mean, this is good, I guess.
And that should mean Flex matchups will feel a fair bit more balanced.
Okay,
moving forward.
Sure.
Next, we're making changes to autofill. The reality of League is that certain roles are substantially more popular than others, and having an autofill jungler versus a jungle main can feel like an auto loss.
Oh my god, this is... If you ever tuned into a Minish Cap stream, you know how much I fucking hate autofill in League of Legends. Personally, I've said, if I need to wait 20, 30 minutes in queue for a completely fair, perfect match-made game, I will. I've spent, you know, years in queue at this point of my life. What is another couple minutes? It doesn't bother me. But from Riot's perspective, it's better to have people have shorter queues with autofill because it keeps them engaged more. And I think a lot of players probably feel that same way too, is they don't want to just sit in queue. They want to just get into a game and play. I get that. So it's my opinion's a little bit different here, but let's see what they have to say about autofill, because he is right. When you have an autofill jungler versus an on-roll jungle, especially in high elo ranked, the game is just automatically lost in champ select, and it sucks. And they said like years ago when autofill was introduced, they wanted to make it so that there was autofill parity, meaning that if your jungle is autofilled, the enemy jungler should be autofilled as well. And I swear to God, if they say that again in this video and they don't deliver for like the third time, I'm gonna scream.
This means that quite often people either dodge to avoid it or hold your lobby hostage in order to get you to dodge. When nobody likes queue times, this is an awful experience.
So we have a number of changes to make autofill fairer.
Yeah, chain dodging is really, really fucking cringe. I will agree. Chain dodging, there has been multiple times on my stream in the last few years, like weekly, this is a weekly occurrence, where I just spend like legitimately half the stream in queue. And I'm not even like, I don't even drop my lobby after someone dodges. I literally hover my one trick and just go in the next lobby. And if it gets banned, I'll just play something, right? I'll bust out the Minish Cap Cho'Gath, the Minish Cap Garen, the Minish Cap Kale, and just take a loss. But I literally never drop my Q, and people still chain dodge and just dodge and dodge and dodge. And I don't even dodge on my one trick unless the situation is like completely fucked. If they have like, for example, Heimerdinger top lane and like enemy Lissandra mid, and then like a hard CC jungler, and then a super long range bot lane, and it just looks completely over in champ select, and my team is all auto-filled, right? Maybe then I'll consider dodging, but I really, as a player personally, don't dodge that much at all, even as a one trick, even as a streamer, because like it directly impacts me negatively to dodge, because people want to watch gameplay. I want to provide them gameplay to watch. And so if I spend the whole fucking stream getting dodged and dodged and dodged by other people, it's very lame.
And reward you for sticking with the role you're assigned when you do get autofilled. First,
Let me rewind for a second.
Queue times, this is an awful experience.
so we have a number of changes to make autofill fairer, and reward you for sticking with the role you're assigned when you do get autofilled.
Okay.
First, if someone on your team is autofilled, the system will try to match autofilled players by role. So an autofilled jungler versus another autofilled jungler, for example.
They've said this like multiple times in the last few years. I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna ah! Okay, I mean maybe it's possible that they'll actually follow through this time. But this is the third time I'm hearing this shit of, hey, we promise if your jungler is autofilled, then their jungler will be autofilled too. I'll believe it when I see it.
If it can't match by roles, it will then of course fall back and try to ensure the same number of autofilled players on each team. We do know though that even with that balance, autofill games can still feel discouraging when you play your best in a role that you didn't choose. That's why we're adding a new system called Aegis of Valor. If you're autofilled and earn a mastery score of C or greater, the Aegis will trigger. You won't lose any LP on a loss, or you'll earn double LP for a win.
So for those of you who may
I mean, I think overall that's a good thing. A C is not that hard to get, but it does. You can't just be like straight up running it down. You can't just give up to get a C. You have to like actually, you know, say for example you're autofilled as jungle or support. We'll use support as an example here. Say you're autofilled as support, you still have to lane, you still have to heal your teammates, you still have to apply CC, you still have to ward, you still have to attend team fights. You can't just sit AFK in a bush or run into their turret over and over and force the game to end because you think you'll get a C and therefore you won't lose LP. You still have to actually put some effort in. I think they should maybe make it like a B or a B minus, but it's pretty easy to earn a C as long as you're not inting and you're actually trying to play the game. Will this be abused? I don't know. Is it on paper a good change to make getting autofilled or losing an autofilled game less painful? Yes. Now I will probably never dodge ever if I'm autofilled jungle, because if I want to play Sin jungle or even play like I've been enjoying some Mundo jungle personally, if I play those things, I'm probably gonna get a C because I'm pretty confident in my skill on those two champions in the jungle, right? So I just feel like this is overall a good change. I know a lot of streamers are reacting pretty negatively to this because they're afraid of people abusing it, but I think this is overall a good thing because autofill was my number one pain point in solo queue in League of Legends. It just sucks as an experience. So them trying to make autofill better, I think is good because I don't think they'll ever fully remove it, because they really value shorter queue time. So
less popular roles and therefore seldom get autofilled, first of all, thanks. We haven't forgotten about you. You'll still occasionally receive the Aegis benefit at about the same rate as other players because we want to reward the role heroes who keep the queue healthy and moving.
So what if I just queue top plus fill, right? Wouldn't that be kind of OP? If I just queue top plus fill, because then I would just get the Aegis. Or is it only occasionally if you queue fill that you get this?
Finally, we know how frustrating it is to be constantly returned to the queue because you get enchained dodges lobby after lobby.
Yes,
so we've made a few
yes.
updates.
First, after a positive response to our pilot test, we're removing the ability to ban a hovered allied champion,
This has been live in NA for a while. This has been good.
taking away an opportunity for a teammate to tilt off the planet before the match even starts. And then second, dodging a lobby will no longer allow players to escape autofill. It'll just get carried over to the next lobby.
That's rough.
We think that the Aegis of Valor should provide a solid reward for sticking around and trying. So, I mean, come on, it's double LP for a win.
And I guess if you perform like you're not asleep, you get -0. So I get it. Yeah.
After all. And at Master and above, dodging an autofill will count as a full loss.
He says specifically dodging an autofill, which that means if I load into a game and the situation is doomed, but I'm on roll and I dodge, it shouldn't count as a full loss.
We know that this is a pretty big change
Right, that
from
is-
how
let
we've
me
dealt with
replay that real
dodging.
quick.
Autofill will double LP for a win, after all. And at Master and above, dodging an autofill will count as a full loss.
Yeah.
We
that's
know
fine.
that this
I mean, in that case, I'm never dodging when I'm autofilled because, again, if you do the bare minimum, you get a C, but sometimes the bare minimum is all that your team needs to win, so.
is a pretty big change from how we've dealt with dodging in the past, and we believe that this will lead to higher quality and faster games. Speaking of speeding things up, we're also speeding up champ select by cutting down on timers and animations, which should save about half a minute.
I see what you did there.
Yep, no, I did it.
That's good.
And if that wasn't enough, we've got one last ranked change. We're adding back duo queue to higher ranks, including Challenger
No,
in
no.
most regions. For so many people, League is better with friends. And in the past, we disabled duoing at Apex tier ranks because it so often led to rank manipulation. But because of the improvements we mentioned earlier, as well as the ongoing work on boosting and ranked manipulation detection, we're confident that we can bring back high MMR duoing without it being so abused.
I mean, so the good part here is it will increase the player population high elo because people love to play with their friends. The hard part is that duo queues used to just run so many games over. Maybe, like he said, with the newer matchmaking, this can be implemented well. But man, it's so hard to play against duo queue, especially like when they're duo queue top jungle or they're duo queue top mid. Generally, what used to happen was if enemy team had duo queue bot lane, your team would have duo queue bot lane as well, so that wasn't as big of a deal at all. But when enemy top jungle was duo queued and you were solo queue as top and you didn't get any help and they just fisted you every 30 seconds with a gank, it felt so bad. So I guess we'll see what they do here. Certain streamers will be, for whatever reason, maybe because duo queue is maybe back, maybe they'll be hitting Challenger again for the first time in a long time, mid beast. But we'll see how it goes. Some people will have their climbing buddies, not boosting buddies, back available to duo with, so I guess I'm excited for them.
So, call up your friends. It's duo
For the record, I love mid beast. He's hilarious.
time.
Switching gears, let's talk about Swift play. Swift
I don't give a shit about Swift play at all.
play is pretty
Go for it.
Hi everyone, I'm Dashi Jador, product lead. Back
WASD? Okay, that's a whole separate video. So let's go over the actual articles of text about these changes for Season 16. So there is, like we watched in the video, there is a whole bunch of changes that are buffing split pushing, and I think, honestly, split pushing is going to be pretty crazy and overpowered at the start of the season. From playing on PvE, split pushing feels very strong. So I think that this split pushing in general will get nerfed a little bit, but they said that their goal was to have it be an option to win the game, but it should never be the only option, right? So in my opinion, it's going to be very strong on release, and they'll probably nerf it down. after, you know, a couple patches, a patch or two. Hopefully they react pretty quickly so that we're not getting fisted by Hullbreaker, Trundle, Hullbreaker, Kled, Hullbreaker, Fiora every single game, right? It's good to have it as an option, but it shouldn't be the only option. Same thing with team fighting, though. It's good to have team fighting as an option, and in general, for League of Legends 5v5 game, it should be the main option, but it should never be like what it has been the last few years, where it's the only option. And if you don't, you know, lose a turret to go team fight because Dragon is just better than losing your turret, it shouldn't be like that, right, either. There should be shades of gray. There should be a range of options to choose from, but I think on release, again, split pushing will be too strong. I think they'll probably end up nerfing it down a little bit. I will go over all these items individually as well in a bit. And I already pretty much gave my thoughts on the role quests. I think that the overall design is good. I'm excited to have access to Ignite in lane again, or Ghost Flash. I love Ignite Singe so much. It's so much fun. So having access to that while also having teleport later will be good. And if I just want to run TP, you know, having it have a big ass shield is kind of cool too. Prevents you from getting instantly bursted whenever you teleport in, which is cool. But I think in general, Ignite and Ghost Slash top lane will be fun. And I think Ghost Slash top lane is more fun anyways. It's hard sometimes with the way the game is now before 2026, because if you don't have teleport, then you can get checkmated in side lane, which sucks, right? So this will be a good change overall for sure, and it'll bring more variety to top lane. I think most top laners will probably still just run TP because the cooldown of normal TP is just way lower, and they like TP for the laning phase, which I totally understand. It's very good for laning phase because it helps you get through rough matchups, especially as a top lane versus range, right? I get that. But player like me, I actually love playing fucking aggressively. I love playing balls to the wall. I love having things like Ignite to say, hey, I'm going to try to kill you now. I think that's awesome. And it feels like for the last long time, ever since, excuse me, it feels like for the last long time, ever since back in the day when teleport became super buffed and Ignite became super nerfed, that teleport was the only way to play top lane. And so I'm glad that they're just going to say, everyone gets it now, have some fun. I think that's cool. It's a good thing for the game overall. Now, for mid, mid is getting slightly more shafted, in my opinion, than top and bot lane. They're going to get their free boots. And the mid lane recall, by the way, the empowered recall, does have a pretty significant cooldown on it. That cooldown does go down for champion takedowns, but it is not a recall every single time for 4 seconds instead of 8. It's not empowered every time. You have to actually go through a cooldown for it, which I think is pretty good. But their reward is definitely more lame because the other thing that they get is the free feats boots. But like, yeah, I mean, I guess that's okay for mid lane. Bot lane, I think is really cool as well, that they get to have extra components in their inventory at all times. What I would give on Singe to have like an extra component, extra blasting wand, extra giant spell, just sitting in my inventory of stats because I love having stats. That would be super awesome. But different rewards for different roles, I think it's good. I also think that having, you know, free TP and extra XP is good too, because if I get extra XP, level 16 faster, big boy level 16 Singed ult, right? So, and a lot of top lane champions like the level 16, you know, Darius, Mundo, Kale come to mind when the thing about champions that love their level 16 ultimate. I don't know if Riven likes level 16 that much, but like there's a lot of characters who really like having that level 16 power spike in top lane as well. Okay, I'm going to go over all the new items one by one with Mr. Riot Nstep's video. I interviewed him at the start of this year, you'll remember. I think in like March he's the one who did the Singe minion execution, which, I mean, you guys know I'm not a fan of that mechanic, but as a designer, he does have a good brain for the game, even if I don't agree with that specific decision. I think overall he does do things pretty well. So first item is called Hex Optics. This is an 80 carry item. 50, 80, 25% crit. Deal 10% increased damage with attacks, up to 10% increased damage based on how far away the enemy is. Max damage at 700 range. I think Caitlyn, I think Tristana, I think Ashe, I think Kog'Maw here, characters like that. Jinx with her rocket launcher out. Arcane Aim, second passive. When a champion that you damage within 3 seconds dies, so a takedown, you gain 100 additional attack range for 6 seconds. So I'm thinking this could lead to Tristana late game with like 1,000 or like 900 range, Caitlyn with 750, Ashe with 725, right? This could be cool. Something scary is if a Vayne gets a takedown and then gets 100 extra range, she goes from, what is it, 550 to 650, Caitlyn range, that could be hard. But the stats on this are not that good for Vayne, so I'm not that worried about her using like this, right? Overall, could be a cool item. This will have to be balanced very carefully if it ends up being too strong and the range is too good. In the video, N-Step talks about how he doesn't think the range itself is going to be that OP, but in the hands of very, very skilled players, like imagine like Gumayusi or Ruler playing with this item on a Caitlyn or on a I guess Varus is kind of long range too. Kog'Maw's Zeri. Does Zeri get Zeri's 525? Maybe not Zeri, but a lot of characters could really abuse this, especially in the hands of a mechanically very competent player. So something to watch out for here. Cool design though. All right, next item is Fiend Hunter Bolts. 40% attack speed, 25% crit, 4% movement speed, gain 30 ultimate haste. So this is kind of like Hex Tech, Hexplate or Malignance. And the second passive, Opening Barrage. After casting your ultimate, your next 3 basic attacks gain 50% attack speed and critically strike for 75% of your normal critical strike damage for 8 seconds. If an attack would already crit, it will instead deal 10% bonus tree damage. So this is cool. This again makes me think of Vayne would love this item. What other Zeri would buy this every single game most likely because of 30 ultimate ability haste. Some AD carries are just very, very ultimate, built around their ultimate. So I think that'd be cool. This could actually, I could see this being quite good for Kog'Maw as well, because his ult is never on cooldown, so he can use this every single time this 45-second cooldown is up. But the stats are good for him. I just don't know if maybe it's I don't know. I'm not an expert in AD carry, so it is a very cool concept. The price on this for what it offers is very cheap, by the way. $26.50. This item will get nerfed in my opinion. This is very, very strong for the stats that it gives and the active that it gives, because the 30 ultimate haste is technically a stat as well, even if it's only ultimate haste. The cost is very, very attractive on this item. This will probably get nerfed in my opinion, but it is a cool item to have in the game. Okay, next item, Bastion Breaker. This is the 80 lethality user assassin split pushing item, 55 AD, 22 lethality, the highest lethality in the game, 15 ability haste. Dealing damage to a champion or epic monster deals an additional 15 lethality true damage. Cool, I guess. But the big one is Sabotage. Taking down a champion within 3 seconds of damaging them grants a Sabotage for 90 seconds. While you have it, your next attack against an epic monster or turret deals an additional X amount true damage over 3 seconds. This can be absolutely massive. I'm sure you've seen the Vandal videos. The amount of damage that this can deal to a turret or an epic monster can go to like, I think 1.5k. Like, it's absolutely crazy. The item itself is expensive, but I think that eventually this will probably get nerfed, especially with how strong split pushing as a whole is going to be in the next season. Assassins having the ability to split push as well, when their main method of ending the game has just been like getting kills on targets, them having the ability to actually take turrets really fast or objectives really fast is going to be kind of crazy. Assassin junglers, like Talon comes to mind instantly, are going to be all over this item, because if Talon gets a kill, guess what? I'm going to go one-shot Rift Herald. Yeah, we'll see about this item. I think this item is going to get nerfed pretty heavily. It's going to be pretty game warping in my opinion. Probably the single most OP item that is in the set of new items that's coming out. All right, Murmuring Circlet and Diadem of Songs. This is going to be like Archangels into Seraphs, but for supports instead. 200 health, 8% heal and shield power, 1000 mana, 100% base mana regen, gain 3 or whatever this amount will be based on your mana, heal and shield power. While you or any ally you've healed or shielded in the last 3 seconds is in combat with champions, each second heal the lowest nearby ally for 1% of your maximum mana. Support enchanters with mana issues are going to be all over this item. We are 4,500 gold is quite expensive though for a support item. I'm surprised that's 4,500. It's probably going to just be the 2,250 plus you stack it up and then upgrade it. I'm not sure exactly. I haven't watched the full section of this yet. This is basically Old Moonstone on a tier item, which is kind of cool. Champions that will love this that come to mind are Sona, number 1, will buy this every single game. Mulio comes to mind as well as a mana hungry enchanter. Will enjoy this quite a bit as well. This will give Janna access to more reliable healing, but I don't know if she'll like that because most of Janna's mana comes from regen, not from flat mana. So I don't know. She just doesn't spam abilities that hard to actually use this. Overall, that will be a pretty cool item. The next item is Eternal Hunger. 3,000 gold, 60 AD, 5% Omnivamp, 20% Tenacity, gain 11 ability haste. Or this is based on your AD ability haste. So whatever this amount is going to be a little bit different. Based on how much AD you have. Then when a champion that you damage within 3 seconds dies, gain 15% Omnivamp for 8 seconds. This is... Ooh, Riven is gonna love this item. Ability haste based on your AD. And Bessa is gonna love this item. You get lots and lots of AD. You get more and more ability haste. You're gonna get Omnivamp to keep the fight going. I mean... Oh man, I feel like this should be only basic ability haste. This should not be ultimate ability haste as well, because this is going to make Riven into a permanent ban character. Because this also gives tenacity. What? For 3k gold? For 3k gold, this is the most insane stat profile I've seen in a while. Wow, actually, this might be more OP than the Bastion Breaker item earlier. And tenacity? Does it really need that? That's crazy. Because you're going to get so much value from ability haste from AD conversion and Omnivamp already for fighter. Like, this is going to be insane. This item, if they keep these stats, is going to end up being 3.4k gold. In my opinion. This is a crazy ass item. I think it's a cool item. I think it's interesting to have it in the game, but it looks very, very overpowered. And it's going to be absolutely mental on certain characters. Again, Riven and Bessa come to mind. I'm not sure who else would love this as much as them, but there's probably characters who would really enjoy this. Like, there's Kled. Kled might like this because I know people like playing lethality Kled, right? Kane would like this as well. I don't know if Aatrox would like it because they changed it to be more of a bruiser now, but Kane will definitely love this, yeah. Okay, moving on to the next item. It's called Actualizer. 3.1k gold, 90 AP, 300 mana, 10 ability haste. You can activate it on a 60-second cooldown. For 8-second duration, your mana is empowered. While empowered, your spells will cost 100% more mana. You gain actually, when you buy this at level 1, you gain 16.5% increased ability damage based on the stats of the item itself, being 300 bonus mana. Shielding and healing and your basic ability cooldowns progress 30% faster. So this will be absolutely built with Seraphs. It will amplify the Seraph shield. It'll be the Rise item for sure. It doesn't give like a ton of mana on its own. When you pair it with a tier item, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Rise will love this. Sona will love this. Sona is going to get nerfed for sure when you combine this with the AP, the tier support item that she's getting as well. Rise might see a nerf for the first time in a very long time because this item. Faker is salivating watching this item because, you know, his Rise is pretty famous. I also find it interesting that this is an active item because I can't remember the last time they put an active item in the game. I think Mythics were active. They had a bunch of actives added, but like they haven't put actives in for a while. I could see Rod of Age's Singed being quite good with this. I could see Rod of Age's Gragas loving this item as well, or even Roa tier Gragas would fucking one-shot people with this item potentially, even though that's a very scaling-oriented build. Like, you got those 2 items and you just have enough base mana. I can see some bombas happening. Next item, Protoplasm Harness. This item is what I'm excited about. Unfortunately, there are no actual AP Bruiser items for Singe. There is one that's coming up that Singe I don't think we'll be able to use that well. But this item Singe can use, as well as the next item after this. Protoplasm Harness, 2.5k gold, 600 health, 15 ability haste. Lifeline passive, 90-second cooldown. Taking damage that reduces your health below 30% causes you to gain 200 maximum health for 5 seconds, then heal for X amount, scaling with your bonus armor and MR health over the duration. While you're healing, you gain 15% increased size, 10% movement speed, and 25... Oh my god, 25% tenacity. A tenacity item that Singe can use? That's not Merc Treads. Oh my god. Like, we've been able to buy Sterak's, right? But you're paying for AD in that item, and it's less HP than this. Whereas Protoplasm, it's a much better item for Singe because, guess what? every time you're going to get low, your ultimate should be up. If your ultimate is up, you scale this item up. And then getting the move speed tenacity when you're low is just like, mwah, mwah. This will be the new Anathema's Chains for Singed, in my opinion. This will be a very, very good mid to late game item for Singed. If you're in a game and you're looking at the enemy team and you say, wow, they have a lot of burst damage on that team, I need to survive fights, I can get Leandries or Rylai's and then buy this item second or buy this item third. And because the effects of the item scale with my kit, meaning my ult, it's going to feel really, really, really good. Obviously, there's other champs that will love this item. Malphite, Rammus will love this item. Any champ that can get a lot of resistances. Ornn is going to just pop off with this item for sure because he gets a ton of resist as well as Jack Show. I could see a build where we do Protoplasm Harness plus Jack Show, or more realistically, Protoplasm Harness plus Zeke's on Singed with the ult, get just an absurd amount of tankiness. Could be very, very fun. And I think that characters like Singed specifically, I actually messaged Enseth about this on Discord about this item. I talked to him because I told him how excited I was for this item, and he actually said that he didn't think about Singed at all. Big surprise of Riot not thinking about Singed. I'm joking. I'm not. I'm joking, kind of. He actually said that he didn't think about Singed at all when they developed this item, but obviously Singed could be a great candidate for it because we have ultimate built in, for resist built into the kit, right? And Singed loves these stats. He loves health. He loves ability, a little tiny bit of ability. It's not a lot, but a bit. He loves tenacity. He loves movement speed, right? Like these are good. This is going to be a great item. It's going to be super fun in my opinion. This will be probably the default item for Singed when, oh shit, I have to survive burst damage happens, or just survive a fight in general. This also, but it works while you're in Zhonya's. So a potential build that could be absolutely bonkers on Singed would be like Leandries into Harness into Zhonya's, or even Rylai's Leandries, Zhonya's Harness, right? You will be quite hard to kill, but I think we need that because for the past, like, ever since Otacon is introduced, it feels like Singed has been so easy to kill. And then when you pair that with the fact that we lost 5 stats on ult, we lost armor per level, like all of these things add up to making Singed feel quite squishy. And so the combination of Otacon Flowers being removing all that extra free AD from the game, AP from the game, all that free experience from the game, then giving me in top lane specifically bonus experience for farming and fighting, and then giving me that faster 16 to scale this item faster, I think will be overall just quite fun, quite good for the game. And I don't even think it'll be that OP because, like, again, it doesn't actually give you damage as Singed at all. It only gives you survivability, right? So I think it'll be good for my champion specifically. I am sad that there's no actual AP Bruiser item that Singed can use, but this item is very, very exciting to me. Now, this is the other item I think Singed will be able to use, but this will be more for support Singed. I guess you could potentially buy this as top lane Singed as well. Bandle Pipes, 200 health, 15 ability haste. This is meant to be a tank support item, by the way. 200 health, 15 ability haste, 20 armor, 20 MR, 2k gold. Slowing or immobilizing an enemy champion grants the buff aura for 8 seconds. The buff aura grants you 20 move speed. While you have the buff aura, nearby allies, including yourself, gain 30% attack speed. So, basically, if you have Rylai's plus Bandle Pipes, you can turn into a buff machine for your team, giving your whole team attack speed. So if I'm playing Singed, right, and I'm in one of those games where my team locks in a bunch of auto attackers, a bunch of carries, and no actual utility, which happens a lot, right? Senna support, Ashe 80 carry, then we have like we have like Jack's jungle, and then Diana mid or something. Bro, you bet your ass I'm buying Rylai's and Bandle Pipes, even if I'm top lane, because I can give you're telling me I can give myself 20 move speed every fight, and give my teammates 30% attack speed permanently for the whole fight because I have Rylai's and Singed. Yeah, this will be fun. And this also opens up support Singed in general, because in support Singed, I can just go Rylai's Bandle Pipes, right? That could be cool. Unfortunately for support Singed, he's not that good into Enchanter matchups at all, or Mage matchups at all. But versus a melee support, this could be very, very fun. And even as top lane Singed, this item could be very fun in the right moments. I would never buy this every game. I don't think the stats make it worth it to buy every game either. It's only 300 health and only 20 armor and MR. This is a lot lower stats than Zeke's, if you're talking about support tank items, right? But if I had to only have one out of the two items, I would personally only go for Protoplasm. But that being said, Bandle Pipes is a very cool item, and it does open up a more supportive playstyle for my champion, which is cool. And I think in general, this is a very cool change, or a very cool item to have in the game, because it gives tank supports like a way to be like, hey, I'm helping you in a way that's not just ICC enemy, I peel you, like it gives them a way to actually feel like more of a whole support, which is kind of cool. I think that's awesome. Dota has items like this already. They've had it for a very long time. Things like drums, right, that can buff your whole team. The shielding item, I forget, not the shielding, sorry, the little shield that you can pop and give a heal to your team that gives you tankiness, like that one's cool too. I forget what it's called in Dota. But having more items like this in League, I think, is awesome. And I feel like these items are, as a whole, are kind of inspired by Dota, because these feel like these are the most interesting items that we've had in a while. Okay, next item, Dusk and Dawn, 3,100 gold, 300 health, 70 AP, 20 ability haste, 25% attack speed. Then Spellblade, like a Triforce or Lichbane type passive. After using the ability, your next attack deals 111 bonus magic damage on hit and applies on-hit effects an additional time. Now, if Poison toggling on and off could proc Spellblade, I would buy this every game on Singed. Unfortunately, it does not work like that, so I'll probably buy this 0 games on Singed. Which is very sad, because I was excited for maybe another AP Bruiser item, but we got one last year, or I guess this year. We got Bloodletter's Curse. I can't complain too much. We did get a new item. I'm getting another new item next season, so I shouldn't complain too much, but this will be fun. The number 1 champion that comes to mind for this is Diana. The number 2 champion that comes to mind for this is Volibear. Volibear mains and Diana mains are going crazy over this item. I wonder if Kale would prefer this over Lichbane, because Lichbane gives a lot more like actual stats that she might like, such as movement speed and AP. Lichbane's also 200 gold cheaper, so I wonder if she would prefer this or Lichbane. This does give like a lot of attack speed though, which she might like. That's not a lot, it's 25%, but it's a decent amount, right? On hit affects an additional time. Maybe on hit, like Bruisery Kale could be a thing. I doubt on hit Kassadin would ever want this, but the stats are good for Kassadin. I just don't think he would actually build this, because the effect, I think he'd prefer Lichbane as well. Victor, I know, is a Lichbane user. Would he ever buy this? Probably not. Victor doesn't really care about health or attack speed that much. Maybe health a little bit in top lane Victor, but I mean, cool item. Yeah, I think it's cool. It'll give on-hit AP Bruisers a new way to play. Salus would like this as well. Salus, which is basically AP Riven that can steal your ultimate, I think would like this a lot. I'm trying to think who else. Fizz will definitely buy this item, because his W is literally on hit in the ability. Teemo might actually buy this item, but Teemo can only proc this with his Q and W. I guess you could proc it with R as well, but like, I don't know, because Teemo probably just wants to get like Leandries and Malignance and shit like that instead, right? Like Nashor's Tooth. But I guess with Nashor's Tooth, it does open up him to buy this item as well. Who else would like this item besides those? I'm trying to think. I can't really think of anything else right now. So here's an OG item that's actually coming back. Hextech Gunblade, 80 AP, 40% AD, 10% lifesteal, gain 10% spell vamp. And the active Lightning Bolt shocks target enemy champion, dealing 253 magic damage and slowing them by 20% for 1.5 seconds. 10% spell vamp. This is going to be potentially usable on Singed. Unfortunately, it does still give AD, so it's not just a straight up spell vamp item. I mean, I will say this for Singed, I'll get some fun videos out of this item, but this is going to be more useful, obviously, on, you know, champions like Akali, Ezreal come to mind. Jax will love this item. Faust is going to go crazy with his AP Hybrid Jax playing this item. I wonder who else would use this item besides those characters. I think Katarina will like this item, but I feel like Jax is going to like this item more, honestly, because the stat profile. No, I'm wrong. I think Cat will like this item more. But so Stormrazor is coming back, 3,200 gold, 50 AD, 20% attack speed, 25% crit. Energized, and then your energized attack applies 100 bonus magic damage and grants 45% move speed for 1.5 seconds. This is different than what it used to be. Stormrazor used to give a big old slow when you hit somebody with energized attack. But Stormrazor will be the more recent version of the item that was removed recently. I guess within the last like year or two, that gives the movement speed. So I think cool item. It's gonna be kind of niche, but if they're okay with having more niche, unique items that fewer champions buy, I think it's a good thing for the game. Because having a game roster full of 170 champions that need to all share the same item pool, I think having more items overall is good. Because even with my weird ass champion, in this video alone, two items I can use, right? One item that I'll use every game probably, and the other item I'll use if I'm support or I have a weird team comp. But even with my weird ass character having 2 items, that's kind of cool, right? So good thing overall for the game. Echoes of Helia is having its passive changed to be the old Athene's Unholy Grail. If you remember the item, it was very fun, like hybrid mid lane support item where you get healing to restore your HP whenever you deal damage. I mean, it's kind of cool. Is it going to be OP? Yeah, probably. Old Athene's was ridiculously strong, but Old Athene's also gave magic resistance, whereas this does not. So I guess see how it plays out. I think it's cool. I don't really care about enchanter items that much, I'm going to be honest with you. But I'm sure some people are looking at this and pogging out and thinking, oh, wow, I get to have the old Athene's Unholy Grail passive on my item. Wow, poggers, holy. You know, that's not me, but I think it's cool to have it back, so. And then we'll go over all the other item stuff. Essence Reaver is back as a Sheen item and a crit item. Gangplank mains rejoice. They finally have an item again. Umbral Glaive, light rework. Let me look up what the Umbral Glaive changes are. So this is Vanderill's video. According to this, Umbral Glaive is going to have Night Stalker. After being unseen by enemies for 1 second, your next attack as a champion deals an additional X amount based on your lethality true damage. And you still have on a 90-second cooldown, the ability to kill wards very fast. So this is just a straight up buff to Umbral Glaive. I would not call this a rework or reshape. This is a buff. You are paying 300 extra gold, but you're getting 5 extra AD, 3 extra lethality, 5 ability haste, and you're just going to have everything about the old one and more damage as well. This is just a buff. Pike will remain permanently banned every game, most likely. Horizon Focus will become the old Horizon Focus with 75 AP on the long range only vision passive. I think that's cool. The current Horizon Focus is super obnoxious, and even characters that don't really need the vision just buy it because it's so oversaturated right now. 125 AP, 25 ability haste, absolutely crazy. I'm glad they're reverting a Horizon Focus. Unending Despair back to armor plus HP and haste with no MR. Yes, because this means it's easier for me to play against tanks in top lane, because they will not just have an item that gives them every single stat in the fucking game for tanks and a heal. Now they're actually at least going to not have all the MR that this item gave before, right? So exciting stuff here too. Sundered Sky retuned. Let me look up what the new Sundered Sky is. So I couldn't actually find the numbers, but Endstep in the video, he says that they are going to retune this item because the crit being put back up to 200% by default means that Sundered Sky's guaranteed crit passive is going to be kind of crazy, so I'm glad that they're changing this. It is kind of an obnoxious item to play against, but I trust in them to balance it properly with all the new stuff that's happening. Plus, Ultimate Haste on Zeke's Convergence is going to give, I believe, 15 Ultimate Haste. Yeah, Singe stocks going up. I love Zeke's Convergence on Singe. You can't buy it every game because every game is situational item-wise, but having this give Ult Haste could potentially make it a core item. You pair it with the Protoplasm item to give even more armor MR for the healing. This could be kind of a crazy Singe item. I think it could be really very fun. New version of Giant Star and LDR. The percent pen is nerfed on both LDR and Mortal Reminder, and Mortal Reminder is cheaper. Awesome. It has felt like for the last a little while that percent pen is just way too fucking strong on things like LDR, to the point where you had assassins, AD assassins who had access to Serelda's, they were buying LDR instead because it was just really that fucking good. And having AD carries actually have an option to kill health stackers besides Bork will be good as well. I just think it's a good thing overall. Having armor be meaningful against armor pen is very important because a lot of the items they give more armor and MR than they actually give you health. And then the health items specifically, Heartsteel, Warmogs, Titanic, very fucking strong on certain characters. Overlord's Bloodmail, like the amount of health that those items give make those characters so hard to kill that they oftentimes don't even need armor, which is insane. So having this item to counter health stacking but make resistances a bit stronger, that's good. Multiple tier items again. You can stack multiple tier items, but you have to get them separately. That's cool. I don't think I really care about that much at all. So my thoughts as a whole on season 16 so far. Tentatively, I am quite positive. It's looking like a fun season. My number one worry though is that split pushing will become too obnoxiously powerful and will become the only way to play the game. As long as they fix that, when I think it will happen, as long as they fix that and make split pushing not obnoxiously overpowered, I think the game will be in a very fun state. This is the biggest preseason that we've had in a very long time. I think it's very awesome. It's new gameplay mechanics. There's methods to balance each role individually power wise for the long term. The items look cool. Everyone's getting something that they can kind of use. Maybe some character. I lied. Urgot's getting shafted again, as usual. Urgot's gonna have no fucking new items at all, unless he likes that lethality item, but probably not. So, as usual, Urgot gets shafted, but everybody else gets new items. Yeah, I think it'll be cool. I'm excited for the new season. AD carry changes look cool. Jungle and support not getting buffed that much at all, which is good compared to top lane and AD carry because we need them the most. Having Ignite top lane for Singed again will be really fun, or Ghost Flash if you're that kind of player. But, yeah, I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be fun. I'm excited tentatively, and I hope you guys enjoyed this long ramble reaction type video. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Get to the next one. Mwah. Peace, guys.